All right, well, I just realized I didn't do a follow-up on finishing up the VW thing. So we'll do a quick little video, not too long. Anyhow, it's completely done. I've had it out and about, running it. Runs good. It's way different now. First thing I did was BFG's all-terrains, and I went from 33 inches to 31s, and it just works way better on this thing. Put the window nets in the back. That way, if you tie everything down in the vehicle, but if you roll it, keeps things from flying out. What else? I don't know if I've ever shown this. This little thing right here. This thing's pretty cool. It's a digital water temp. It turns the fans on. So you can set it like, let's say you want it at 195. 195, one fan will kick on, and then just a little bit later, the second fan will kick on. And it's really nice, like if you want to run it at 200 or 190 or 210, you can just set it and forget it. I don't know if I've ever shown the pump. That's a good little pump. I don't know what brand it is. It's not fancy, but it works really good. And the thing with these pumps is a lot of people will use like a little cigarette lighter adapter to power it. It doesn't get the juice. Anyhow, this one's a little bit bigger, and I actually ran the second set of the red wires. I ran those red wires on the side post, and the black wire goes directly to the pump. And that thing works great. And it's got a 25-foot hose on it, so you can, help somebody else up or yourself up. And then I think I covered all the stuff that's in there. Shocks are mounted back up. These lights here, I was going to use as hazard lights. I got a pair of them up there, and then I put the controller. You have to turn the light on here, and then this little controller, this little aux beam controller there, it does all the functions. So what it does I think it's a yellow and a white, and then a yellow-white flasher. I think it does 3 or 4 different things, and yeah, it works pretty good. I did put in a fuel gauge, put the centering unit right there. I cleaned out, I took all the foam out from the fuel cell and cleaned and vacuumed, and it's all prepped. It did have quite a bit of foam in the fuel filter. Everything's dusty and dirty now, but that fuel filter's all clean. Put a new fuel pump on. And then the engine, I got about 50, 60 miles in on breaking in the engine. It's going really well, runs fantastic. I did have a problem with the fuel pressure regulator. It was running real rich when I first started it so I welded in another bung on the header. This one here, welded that in on there, and then I was able to get it tuned. So I've got it right now sitting at about 14.6, 14.7 for AFR, and it's just running perfect. Transmission's working good. There's the gussets that were welded on. Got welded on both sides. And then I think I mentioned in one of the videos, I put sway-away axles on instead of 300Ms on that were on it. These give they have a little bit of a twist to them, just a little bit. So if you were to go over some whoops and spin and hook, and they'll be a little bit more forgiving for the ring and pinion. But the transmission's running strong. I also put in the going from the 33s to the 32s or 31s helps quite a bit too. A little less leverage to break things. I did take the tire off the roof, mount to the back, and then I went ahead and, I don't know if I can get to some video, I just made a mount. So basically the mount goes down here, and it's welded to this thing here. And so whenever you need to take the tire off, you spin this off, and then there's one lug nut that you have to take off. Can't see it. Yeah, you can. There's one lug nut up there. Take that off, and then this has got a quick disconnect. So you just take all this off. And then the way I wired it was up under here. You unhook this, and then all the wiring loom stays on when you want to take the cage off. Kind of convenient in case you ever have to service the transmission or put a new clutch in or whatever. What else is new? All the mounts are, I had to weld all new mounts in. So all the mounts are in. They're holding up good. This plate here is a separate plate. And I kind of had it rigged up before and it didn't really work so good. Now you just take this bolt off, these off, and then this whole plate just pulls out and off. It's pretty nice when you want to change the oil. Let's see, what else did I do? I think that's about it. I've covered most everything. I mean, this is a finished product where these are the door bars are great. I thought they were going to be a pain, but I got these on a little tether. Stick them in. You see, you just slide them open, and then when you get out, just let it drop. Got a little thing there to catch it. And it works really good. It's not in the way at all. I did put a new, I think you call it Mob Armor phone mount. The little cheap mounts that you buy for cars, they just don't hold up in this thing. So I bought one of them, and it is fantastic. It's nothing spring loaded. It's got a thumb screw back here. You put it in, you cinch it down, and that thing doesn't go anywhere. I did put in a new switch, USB switch. It finally broke and came loose. And then this is the one that hooks to your phone, and then the iPad is the second one that's got it hooked up. AFR gauge is right there. And then I think I mentioned I was going to move the horn to the center of the steering wheel, and that just wasn't going to work because it's got the connections on them, but there, it's got the connections on them, but it still goes down and your stuff's still going to get twisted up. It's not like the fancy steering wheel. So I just decided to put the horn over here, and then I put the fuel gauge. Where's it at? There. I put the fuel gauge there. It's so nice having a fuel gauge. And then the seats, I put 4-inch memory foam in them, and they look like they're super puffy, and they are. But after you ride for about an hour, it's about an inch or half-inch thick by the time it all gets settled. But it definitely is a lot more comfortable. And then the heated seats. Let's see if I can get it in here. Yeah, I got 2 switches for the heated seats. Well, I can't focus that. And that works. They work really good. In fact, hot is really too hot. It's crazy hot. I don't know if I've ever shown, but up here I've got these are, I think they're made for Jeeps. They got 2 zippers and a little pocket thing, and they work so nice for just putting stuff in. I've got one there, and then these little water bottle mounts. They're great, but with jumping this thing, you have to, if you don't tighten the little thing on the top, those bottles will be flying around inside here. But the turn brake, the new turn brake works phenomenal. It's just crazy how fast you can turn this thing, how short radius it is now. I think about the only other thing I did since the last video was I welded on an extension on this front bar. It used to stop right here. I put an extension on, and then those are the new blinkers. They're just flat out orange LED blinkers. The old blinkers were right here, the side, and they're yellow or they're orange and they're strobes, and they weren't very bright. And so I thought, if I am on the street, I want somebody to, if I'm going to turn, I want them to see me. So I put these, and these are actually pretty darn bright. So I pointed them down a little bit so they're not shining right at people. But other than that, that's about it. Put fresh decals on the shocks. I think I've shown just about everything else. It's so much fun now. It's I ended up putting 25% sag in it. So you can see here, that's what 25% sag looks like. And between these tires, having a little less sidewall than the old tires, and then 25% sag instead of about 35%. It's a little harsher in the dirt when you're going slow, but it feels so much nicer on the street. It's a good compromise anyhow. And the engine's running great. First time I've had it tuned. I think one other thing is I carry a bunch of stuff. Like one of these days maybe I'll do a little video. This whole bag here is just full. In fact, it weighs probably 75 pounds. Tons of tools, and I've got extra CV joints. I've got a complete, this fuel pressure regulator is a good one. I don't know what brand it is. It's a good one, expensive one. And I bought a lesser one, and then I went ahead and took this one off and mocked it up. That way it's completely even the mount. I've made a mount for it. It's just, all you'd have to do is just a couple bolts, couple fuel lines, and you could swap it out. And so it's in here. And then I've got extra O2 sensors. I've got extra coils and spark plugs and belts and all that good stuff. In fact, in here I've got even extra fuel hose. I've got some, let's see, this is 1/2 inch. And then that's 3/8 inch. That way if you're out there and maybe somebody else, I don't know what this is, some rags. These little VW things are pretty cool for storage. Oh, I remember, I put the rags in there so I could wedge these. Otherwise they'll fall out. You know, yeah, these little VWs, they got these little pockets, which are great for putting stuff, as long as it doesn't rattle around too much. But this VW thing body works real good on here. Anyhow, that's about it. See ya.